Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's AMA. Thank you for joining us. I know we got a bunch of people that registered watching, and we got a lot of new members into Trade the Chain, which is always exciting. But we also have a bunch of new stuff that we want to show you today. So I know we did a short version last week, but this week it's going to be different. There's a lot of excitement, and I will let Ryan take it away to the legal.
Alex, thank you. This is just a reminder, as always, that all content provided by Trade the Chain is strictly for informational purposes. Absolutely none of this is investment advice, and you should not be listening to us. That said, I just want to run down real quickly what we plan to cover during today's AMA. We have a bunch of new coins we added. We have Josh's research from the tie. We have features that have been added to the website that some of you may have noticed. We have a Discord authorization walkthrough because that's been one of the most requested items that people have. We'll have Weston's trading corner and Nichols trading gems. So before we get to that research from the tie, I just want to let everyone know we added a handful of coins over the past couple of days. In no particular order, we have GRT, Cover Protocol, EasyFi, Bow Finance, SASR AirSwap, GoChain, Peercoin, Ergo, and Vertcoin. We'll share a list of this with the community via TTC
That's
announcements.
awesome, dude. I know a lot of people were asking for the graph, and so now we have the graph, which was probably our most successful alpha Sig-Dev that we've ever done to date, and that was December 18th.
That was huge.
Listings in like a 5-minute period, wasn't it? It was like everyone listed the graph at the exact same time.
Oh, Weston bought a Tesla on the profits he made. He was so excited.
Yeah, he made like 200% on that, right, Weston?
Yeah, I love the graph.
That was the 1 and 2 in the morning he tripped on the floor for.
Yeah. That's right.
No,
that's
no,
right.
that was a
Running
different
up the
one.
stairs.
That was a different one. This one was just
Awesome.
coordinated boom, boom, boom.
Love it. Love a good boom, boom, boom. So now,
First of all, our AMAs are way more exciting than Alex Mashitsky's. Come on, it's our humor.
And speaking of exciting, Josh has some great research to share with us. Josh, take it away.
Speaking of exciting, now I'm definitely going to let you guys down. I apologize already. Can you enable screen sharing?
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
So this is my favorite thing in this week, and it doesn't have to do with trading or anything, but this is just crypto and stupidity. A company called Curve, which is a custodian, got bought by PayPal. There's also a cryptocurrency called Curve, spelled totally different. Tweet volume on Curve went up by 500%, and the price of Curve went up from like $2.10 to $2.40 because a totally unrelated company got bought. So the thing that I guess I want to get across here is do your due diligence. If you read a Sig-Dev, if you read anything, just make sure you're looking into the right asset because you could end up buying the wrong thing. So totally random, but I think just worth highlighting.
That's important though, Josh. It's very important that people, pay attention to what they're buying and they don't buy something that's, similar, but not it, right? So that's good advice.
Yes. Bitcoin Cash is not Bitcoin for anybody listening. Don't listen to Robert. Roger. So I also wanted to just take a look at Bitcoin tweet volume over time versus price. And just like price has kind of stagnated, we're seeing similar things with Bitcoin tweet volume. We really haven't seen a giant, obviously social conversations are near all-time highs and they continue to be there, but it's starting to stagnate a bit. And I know Ryan, I've heard, got out of his crypto yesterday ahead of all of us and, made the right call. Maybe he started to see some of the stagnation.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm not concerned about it personally. I'm still holding my Bitcoin, but it's something to keep an eye on. Is if we see relative tweet volumes and stuff, it's zero, a little negative, etc. That means that the number of people talking about Bitcoin isn't growing, and we'll see. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing. Next thing I wanted to highlight is just the long-term sentiment of all like the biggest assets now. So Bitcoin, ETH, Cardano, Binance Coin, and Litecoin. I don't know if you guys remember, we had this ginormous spike in long-term sentiment score on Litecoin. It went to like 118 or something, which was actually great. Litecoin went up a lot. We are going to figure out how to keep it within a 0 to 100 bound, but if it does go above, that means people really like it. And so
extra credit.
Yeah, right? I think it's exactly. It's extra credit. And so I want to point out Binance coin's long-term sentiment is at 99.29. I mean, that's really high. You know, it's pretty exceptional. And, you know, obviously Binance Coin had a big run. I mean, Weston probably knows the price off the top of his head because he looks at the market more than I do, but I think it ran over 300. You know, it's come back down to earth a little bit, but I think people are really, really excited about Binance Smart Chain. For anybody who hasn't used it yet, I know, you know, Weston likes to point to Uniswap a lot and show people how to trade Sig-Devs off of Uniswap. If you haven't had the chance yet to try Binance Smart Chain, it's a little bit more complicated than Uniswap, getting set up in your MetaMask and stuff, but it is a really cool experience. And it is so much cheaper. And if you are trading off of Sig-Devs and you can trade them on Smart Chain, you can, you know, if you're trading $1,000, you may pay 4-cent fees on Smart Chain versus $70 fees on Uniswap. And so, you know, obviously, you know, with a lot of Sig-Devs, we've seen that the movements are big enough to justify the fees on Uniswap. But if you can trade them on Binance Smart Chain on like a PancakeSwap or PancakeSwap equivalent, not recommending a particular platform, but the fees are just so much lower that you can capture so much more of the upside on that trade. And I've personally stopped using ETH for DeFi. I'm only using Smart Chain now.
And it's interesting. Yeah.
It's and I'm happy to do a walkthrough for people on how to connect their MetaMask to Smart Chain if anybody wants at some point. It's not that bad. It's
a little tricky, but yeah, it's not that bad. You're right.
It's not that bad. And I wanted to point to PancakeSwap. I mean, look at this surge in Twitter activity on PancakeSwap, which is this area chart here. I mean, we were talking, you know, a couple hundred tweets a day in November. It spiked all the way up to 7,000 plus tweets, you know, earlier this month, and it's come back to earth a little bit, but it's clearly taking off. And so one thing that I wanted to do was just look at, you know, 30-day average tweet volume on PancakeSwap versus Uni. And, you know, PancakeSwap's tweet volume now is higher than Uniswap's tweet volume was on February 1st, which is pretty wild. Obviously, Uni is seeing a surge in tweet volume, and there's some speculation that Hayden has been working on some more things there. But pretty crazy to just see this, you know, PancakeSwap, which none of us were talking about a few weeks ago, you know, coming out of nowhere. And so, you know, on that kind of note of different layer one protocols, you know, that are interacting with DeFi and have smart contracts built on top of them, I want to take a look at ETH aside, you know, what are people talking about from an L1 perspective? And we see that BNB is the most talked about asset. It's actually surged, and Polkadot was really hot earlier this year. Binance Coin has overtaken Polkadot, I think, with the rise of Smart Chain and how easy it is to port assets over from Ethereum. But we're seeing surges in everything. I mean, Solana has had a really nice kick. You know, Serum on top of Solana has started to gain some traction. AVAX has as well, especially with Pengulin's launch. And so I wanted to look at, you know, then the market cap of these different assets. And, you know, we see that, you know, BNB and Polkadot are still by far the biggest. But there's some movement going on there with some of the smaller assets. But I think, you know, on the same note, I mean, one thing which is interesting, which I think a lot of people are kind of having conversations around now during this bull market, is relative valuation, right? You know, how do you value an asset in this space? And I think some people are looking at valuing layer ones similar to other layer ones. And, you know, if you have a belief that, you know, things being built on top of these other L1s are going to, you know, grow, just like we've seen Binance Smart Chain growing, I think there's a lot to be excited about. You know, like I think, you know, for example, Solana, you can earn 47% yield staking Solana on Binance. And that's, yeah. And so you're getting that yield plus more. I mean, I'm staking PancakeSwap on PancakeSwap and earning 140% APR. So
I saw that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
You
Yeah.
can only
Remember
stake
to
like
be on
6
that
or
trade.
8.
No,
things,
on
but-
PancakeSwap, you can stake as much cake as you want for 140% yield in PancakeSwap.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they
Wow.
only it only has like 8 different coins and whatnot that you could stake or
Oh,
whatnot.
yeah, but the yields are absurd.
But the yield is crazy.
You can
Like-
stake Terra USD, which is a USD stablecoin, for 140% yield.
Why am I staking USDC?
I don't know. If this market starts to cool down, I'm thinking about taking a lot of my money into stable coins and just going for yield and some of this DeFi stuff. There is for anybody listening, We're not giving investment advice. There is a tremendous amount of risk. Cover protocol was just rug pulled for the third time. DeFi protocols can get hacked. You have smart contract risk. If you're not staking, if you're actually interacting with like as an LP on these platforms, there's a lot more risk. So I wouldn't even go into that. But yeah, I mean, if you're building a diversified portfolio with this stuff, I mean, you can, I know people that are making 60% yield on US dollars, in a somewhat risk mitigated manner, interacting with DeFi, which is wild. And that's, let's say 20% of their crypto holdings, where the rest they're using to trade.
So we're going to talk about
AMM
that
less
after
risk?
this. Yeah.
Is
What would you say?
AMM less risk than LP, Josh?
Well, AMM is like being an LP. It's providing the
Okay.
liquidity pool for automated market making. So the problem with when you provide a liquidity pool, when you, for example, provide a pool of, let's say, wrapped BNB, wrapped ETH, and you're providing trading, you have this thing called risk of impermanent loss. And basically what that means is that the BNB or the ETH can move too much. And because you're automated market making, you need to have the same amount of each. And so when they move, even though you're generating a ton of yield, if the asset moves upwards or downwards and they kind of separate from one another, you have risk of what's called impermanent loss, which is losing the difference. And so I'm personally a lot more excited about just staking because you don't have that risk of impermanent loss. Or if you're doing AMM, I think it's a lot more interesting to do it between two stable coins. Because if you're doing it between USDC and Gemini USD, they're not going to move. So you don't have that risk of, I mean, it can move a tiny bit, to 1.0003, but you don't have that risk of impermanent loss.
Or look into Banker, BNT, #BNT, and learn about what they've innovated with. And you can avoid all of that.
Yeah, and one other thing, I know I had a lot, but there's one other thing I wanted to share if I have permission, Ryan.
Go for it.
Which is, I think we've talked about before, the Grayscale products. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know about GBTC. GBTC is now trading at a 14% discount to the underlying value of Bitcoin. So for every $100 million in Bitcoin in GBTC, this is trading at $86 million. Same thing with ETH. It's trading at a 13% discount to NAV. And I'm happy to go into why that is occurring on a different time or now if you guys want. But broadly speaking, the idea is you can't actually redeem your shares for Bitcoin. A lot of institutions put money in because this was trading at a premium to the underlying value. And so they could get additional yield on their Bitcoin, or they could arbitrage the difference between the premium and the borrow rate on Bitcoin. But that said, because institutions were taking advantage of this trade so much capital has gotten put into these products and has gotten unlocked, and you can now buy Bitcoin at a 14% discount effectively. There's a 2% management fee. You can't redeem it for the underlying. So there's a level of risk, but it's also very, very, very interesting right now if you're looking for Bitcoin exposure.
Yep.
Thanks for that, Josh.
Yeah,
Absolutely agree with you on that.
Thank you.
The to James, real quick in the chat, we will do a video of the walkthrough on the smart chain so we could drop it into the academy, and we'll try to get that done ASAP. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan, with the curriculum.
No, no, that's fine. I was going to answer that. I was going to say we'll get a video done, at some point over the next couple of days, but you handled that. So excellent.
And I'd like to add, also, for those folks that are interested in Loopring, yesterday we spent a good solid amount of time on the phone with Loopring, and they are actually going to come on to the AMA and walk through Loopring setup, how it works, and everything else. If you don't know LRC, Loopring is a layer 2 platform that eliminates basically Ethereum gas fees. So it's another alternative for doing your swaps. When did WhatsApp start calling my computer now? So look forward to that. Loopring is going to be on our AMA and do a walkthrough for the community of how to set that up and how to trade. We're also going to have some community contests with Loopring, so look out for those. And there's some really other cool stuff in the works as well. But Ryan and I'll bring that to you as they come over the course of the next week or so.
Absolutely. We have some really exciting initiatives with the Loopring team. And they're almost crossed. The T's are almost crossed. The I's are almost dotted. Once we get everything, down on paper, so to speak, we'll broadcast it to the broader community. And the first step of that would be getting them on the AMA. So we'll absolutely
all
do that.
Exclusive stuff for Trade the Chain community members too. So it's exciting.
Indeed, it is. But before we get to that, we have some new features that were added to the website this week that Alex is going to walk us through. These are really good, really exciting. And this is stuff the community's been asking and that we added based on your demand.
Yeah, very excited about this stuff, Ryan. A couple of, one of the things is this is after we do this, we actually have to roll out the formal announcement. A lot of you guys probably have seen pieces of the improvements or the new features rolled out over the course of this week, but mainly putting it into production because we QA it in dev mode, but then we have to put it in production. We further QA it to make sure it goes right. And then before we put our feet in our mouth, we like to work out all the bugs and then announce it. So we'll be doing that. But I wanted to run through what those new features are so everybody gets a heads up. Okay, first and foremost, if you log into your account, you're going to notice something different, which is the Where to Trade button on the top navigation bar. This has been almost from day one, and particularly to the Sig-Dev alert trades that you guys get, has been a demand. So what happens here is, let's just use Sig-Devs for a second. You get a Sig-Dev alert at 2 a.m, you wake up, trip over the cat, you get to your computer, you see the Sig-Dev is for ABC coin, and you don't know where to get ABC coin. Well, that's easy now because you click on where to trade. I'm going to go to one of my favorites currently, which is CHSB, Swissborg. I type it in and boom, it tells me where it is. So now I don't miss out. I can go get it. This is really exciting. Also, you can input your own exchanges if you're on Kraken, if you're on Bitfinex, any of these. So it's going to be a cool feature. But if you don't know where coins traded, just input it into where to trade. I hope that helps a lot of people. Another thing is, and this is important, guys, because for new members, this pops up and generates automatically. For existing members, you guys have to do a step in order to get it up, and that is the new 1 hour price graphs that you see here. If you are an existing member before we launch this, chances are you're not seeing this on your coin screener page. If that is the case, there's two things you can do real easy to make it pop up moving forward. First one is you go to customize columns, you hit reset to default. Once you reset the default, from that point forward, you will get the 1 hours every time you go into the coin screen. The other way to do it is to clear your cache on your computer. So either way, these will now pop up on their own from day one. We brought this on last week. Want to reiterate, a lot of people didn't pick up on this. We have charting functionality. Okay, so if you click on this 1 hour price or you click on the Bitcoin, on the name of the coin, it now takes you over to a chart. This is exciting. We've now, for this week, actually incorporated it so it didn't pop out into a new window. It now stays within the single window environment, so you can just go back to where you were. What am I missing, Ryan?
I think that's
it, right?
it.
Straight from member feedback,
You can also, by the way, you don't have to actually reset default, because if a user has the saved preferences that they like, let's say they've already customized their columns, you can just toggle on the 1 hour price chart, and so you can add it to the existing.
That is correct.
That you have.
Yep. So that switch right here is here, the 1 hour price chart. So you could do that. So I'll make my screen the way it was before, and boom, there it is. Very cool feature. Boom.
Yeah, look at that.
So I hope that helps.
Oh, also the prices and the pricing data and the sentiment data, that's updating once a minute now, right, Josh, versus once every 5 minutes?
It should be, yeah. And we will eventually be switching. We've been working on live pricing internally, which is having issues. Like, for example, yesterday we had a big issue, like when Stacks got listed on OKEX, the price on OKEX went to $70 and it was $1.20 on Binance, and we were taking an average price. And so, yeah, you couldn't arbitrage it though, because you couldn't get Stacks into OKEX. I tried. That would have been the greatest trade of all time. But we're having some issue. We're not a professional pricing data company. That's not what we do. We are adding it because we want it to look live. So we've been putting in all sorts of bugs and fixes and shit. And I have a full-time engineer that's working on it. So once we start to get more comfortable with it, we'll add it. We could also potentially in the interim add a live price option, but just know that it's not going to be as good as the other price because we're working on. There's some issues with it because it's, you know, it's something new, something we're testing. And it's not that simple. I mean, I think Alex would know. I mean, calculating a reference price is just not easy.
Yeah. A lot of work goes behind the scenes here, guys, for sure, on the tech and dev stuff and capturing data and translating it. So give Josh and his team a lot of credit. They're the ones that don't get any of the glory, but deserve applause for it.
Indeed. And Weston has now gone. Oh, there he is. Welcome back. He's gone off camera as we're about to go through a Discord authorization walkthrough. This is something that has been requested quite a bit from the community. So Weston, if you'd go on your screen and I'll just walk everyone through it.
Yes, let me just loading up here. So yeah, if you are to sign up to trade the chain, how to get to everything Discord related and
Weston, can you share your screen, please?
Yep.
And I also want to give a quick stat to the community real quick that there's only about 50% of our 1,400 plus members are in Discord. So we're trying to solve the problem of anybody having troubles authenticating Discord. So
what is the biggest problem, Alex? Is it people not knowing about it, or is it people authenticating?
It's people authenticating, but Ryan is actually our resident Discord helper, so he'd probably better know the issues.
All right, we can
Weston,
chat offline.
Yeah. Where's the Trade the Chain website, Weston?
I am on it right now. Do you not see it?
Nope.
We just see a green screen.
Yeah, we see your desktop.
Okay. Let's try this again.
There we go. Okay, so for anyone who wants to access the Trade the Chain community on Discord, all you have to do is go up to the top where it says TTC community on the nav bar and click on that. Once you click there, you're brought to this window or this tab where it says join the Trade the Chain Discord, and all you have to do is click on sign into Discord.
So, and this is also from the welcome email, by the way. So I signed in.
Okay.
Here's the welcome.
But you can be on any page on tradethechain.com, and TTC community is at the top, right? So if you've already gone in, you've been using the community for a little while, and you're not coming from the welcome email, you can just go from any site, any page on the website. Once you're there, all you have to do is enter your login information for Discord.
And this is Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the free account that people download at Discord, correct?
Correct. Yes. All you have to do is go to discord.com and sign up for a free account. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah. So real importantly, that folks, that's not the not your TTC credentials. This is your Discord credentials that you put in here for the first time. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. And it's helpful that Weston's going through this whole create an account function now, because that lets people see what they have to do in order to sign up for Discord. Crypto Lover 2021. 1965, huh? You've aged well.
Don't put in password 1.
Beep, beep. Cool. Boop, boop. I am a human. Okay.
That's up for debate.
I have a hard time proving I'm a human on these things, I tell you.
All right. So now, once you've created your Discord account, you have this window here, and all it wants you to do is tap on authenticate.
Or authorize.
And you're good. Now you just sign in to Trade the Chain again.
And now I got to go grab that password from the new email unless I copy paste it. I think I did. Yep. Nope. Boom.
And now
And you're
click
in.
on TTC community
And click on TTC community.
and boom, you're in. And folks, you only have to do this once.
One
So
time.
once you do
And-
this, it is forever done.
And
Now I'm
Bob's
in
your
as
uncle.
crypto
You're in
lover.
the community. Look at that.
Yep. Now, keep in mind, so this is the web app. That could be what's confusing. So Discord has a web, mobile, and desktop app. This is the web app. You want to download the desktop as well as the mobile on Android or iOS.
Correct. And then once you authenticate on your desktop, you do not need to authenticate on your mobile device or on the desktop app, because once you're signed in on your account, you can sign in anywhere: an iPad, an iPhone, Galaxy, whatever, Mac, Windows, Linux machine. Doesn't matter what machine you have or what handheld you have, iPad. You're authorized across all of them because you're authorized within the app, not on the device. So that's it. And we'll chop that up a little, make it a little smoother, put a video together, and we will share that with the community in the academy and in the member resources area. So that way we have an easy reference point for authorizing anyone for Discord. Okay. Now, Weston, let's go over your most successful trades this week.
This
we have
is what
Engine.
everybody was waiting for.
Sounds good to
Absolutely.
me.
Engine, Ocean, and Mana. You know, there's a combination of sentiment, Sig-Dev, and sentiment here, these trades. So Weston's showing us how to use the whole Trade the Chain platform. Take it away, Weston.
You got it. You want me to keep sharing my screen or I was going to say this. I like this setup right here a lot right now. But anyways, we'll avoid that. First one, you said Engine. Yeah, there was some. I just caught the sentiment picking up on it. Then there was a news drop. I followed it all week, and I got in. Well, like I think I want to just off the top of my head, I want to say it's up over 100% over the last. Let's actually take a look. Several days or week, and I'd exited 7-day change, 107%. So I've been basically riding that wave the whole time. They've come up with some big announcements as far as scaling in gaming. So that's been wonderful. They're partnered with Microsoft and Samsung. In case anybody didn't know, those are some pretty big companies to be partnered with. The second one, much more straightforward. Ocean was listed as a Sig-Dev on Kraken. I got into that trade, I want to say about a minute or two after the listing. Or after the announcement, and then held to about 18% gain, sold, and now I'm just continuing to monitor that. Ocean is interesting because it's been available on Voyager, Uniswap, etc. for a long time. I was just waiting for actually a Coinbase listing, but Kraken came first. And then last is Decentraland, or ticker MANA, MANA, which also,
how much did you make on Ocean, Weston? That was 18%, right? Give or take.
Yeah, I believe it was 16 or 18 in a short period of time. I only held that for like less than a day or even a couple hours.
Okay.
Listing.
And yeah,
Yes.
that was from the Sig-Dev for Kraken. And then Mana. So this, yeah, I've been kind of in and out of actually based on sentiment. You see a 7-day change of 37%. I've gained quite a bit more than that. But this was all the way up to, I want to say 40 or 50 something. I think at some point, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is another play on the whole NFT gaming, you know, that narrative that is of 2021 that's going to be huge, I think. And so, yeah, just been a overall pretty solid week again. There's always a bull market somewhere.
I mean, there's always opportunity even in a down market, right? So it doesn't matter if assets go up or down. Smart traders can make money either way.
You got it.
You got it. All right. Thanks, Weston. Really appreciate that. Weston's Trading Corner, everyone.
Thank you.
Just so you know, just a quick recap. Made money on Engine, Ocean, and Mana. So that was his gains this week. And now we have Nichols trading gems. If Weston would stop sharing his screen for us.
Yes, I will. Go back to Zoom.
While you're doing that, I'll get into it. Thanks, Ryan. So the
Yeah.
mask was a good one. I usually just pop in and out
Yeah.
when it's a Sig-Dev, but I would have only made 10% with that. But I noticed that mask, at least on the chart that I looked at, looked like it was doing a really long cup and handle based on it being a brand new coin where everything comes down, everything goes up and up and up. And seeing that pattern, I thought, this is one I think I'm going to hang on to. So instead of making 10%, I actually got out of it just as we started our AMA. So it's actually 38.4% gain, just because TA said, it's not just the Sig-Dev, stick with it. So it's good to have some TA on top of the Sig-Devs to see when to stick with it. And sometimes you'll get lucky and sometimes you won't.
Nice one, man. Well done.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I like the trust swap too this week. I got in on that because some of my Sig-Devs, I didn't really want to go back into Ethereum that just kept going down. So I swapped into trust swap because it was looking hot on sentiment. It hadn't moved a lot yet. Sentiment was high. And I got in and it moved another 28% for me. So really happy about that one.
You're killing it this
That's
week,
just
man.
that's just pure sentiment. As far as other accounts go, if you do a little bit of trading, even in a down market, sometimes you can kind of level off how much you have in an account. So if you're comfortable with trading, using sentiment is powerful because I've made hundreds of other little trades that have just, all the little things that help against the losses of what could be happening in the market we're in right now.
So what I did with sentiment yesterday, I just cashed out. I saw sentiment tanking for everything and I just cashed out. The only thing I'm holding now is my my Doge because I imposed rules on myself after launching 3 darts into my closet door.
If you watch our daily trade the chain
in the door,
episode,
Ryan?
No, there are not. It's a wood door, so they just
There's
bounced
holes.
off the door. I don't whip darts that hard. I arc them, thank God.
if you watch our daily trade the chain episodes, you'll know that yesterday what Ryan is referring to is his massive sell-off of his portfolio to cash. And he took profits. You always have to remember, take profits. So
Correct. I had my number. There was a
Yield
number
on
I
them in
wasn't willing to.
stablecoins.
What's that?
Get some yield on them in stable coins. Don't just sit on dollars and be bored.
8.5%.
No, I'm in
he is.
USDC.
8.5% of Voyager.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in USDC, and what you can do, right? Like you can use all this information that Trade the Chain provides you to get these gains, but then you should have a number. Okay, if I reach this high, I'm only willing to go so far lower before I go down. This is how I look at my portfolio. I'm not giving anyone investment advice, but this is how I look at my portfolio. It's a number my wife and I agreed on. And as soon as we started to circle the drain towards that number, I sold out. I know I get free reign to trade however I want, and I'm not really that great of a trader. So if I make my wife a promise, I have to keep it. And
Not that great
she's
of a
happy I
trader.
did.
Got in before the entire market crashed yesterday. You're better than all of us.
Better lucky than good, right?
Got saved a little bit. I took a bunch of profits. Sorry.
One of the interesting things that somebody had an idea for actually on our show was for us to go through our portfolios, and it's something that we're thinking about doing next week with the 4 of us that are on Trade the Chain. But really 3, I guess the easy portfolio to go through will be Ryan with his Doge holdings. But
I have to liquidate my Doge on Sunday, and I get to launch 3 more darts into my closet door to determine what the next horrible
Don't get ahead of
junk
yourself
coin.
and think you're going to hit the board this time, Ryan. I would just hold it.
No, I'm going to hit the board this time. My wife helpfully didn't tell me I wasn't facing the dartboard full on. I was kind of tilted to the side, and she thought it was funny to watch me crash and burn on live video rather than help me.
And guys, everybody watching, we have this Q&A function here, and we have this live chat here. So who has any questions for us to answer or to walk through something? More than happy to do it. Just throw it in there.
Method 1 has a question just before the AMA.
I do see
he asks, if you have a second for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Thanks.
have all the time in the world.
All right. What he's talking about BTCs and fundamentals and charting and the huge influence of traditional market movements, i.e. looking at a Bitcoin chart only does not give a full picture. Right now, I use it as a sort of indicator, but I'm wondering if there's an actual indicator or chart that can interpolate. He's trying to ask about, about how the traditional market goes and how it affects crypto, and if there's an indicator for that or how to watch for that.
Absolutely. First thing I'd say is watch our episode on YouTube from yesterday. It's posted in TTC announcements every afternoon for the live premiere when we do it Monday through Friday. Yesterday was a episode, particularly we deviated off the norm because the market went south on us and we wanted to talk about it. It explains the traditional market, the equity markets, the bond, the treasuries, and what impact that has on cryptos or was having yesterday. We go through a lot of little nuggets there, including displaying a chart correlating the S&P 500 side by side with Bitcoin. So it gives a great illustration, a visual. So definitely watch it. It's in TTC announcements, should be the last announcement there or the one before this AMA announcement, if I'm not mistaken. Subscribe to the channel. You don't even have to hit the like button or anything. You can hit the dislike button, but subscribe to the channel because we're one of the few crypto YouTube channels that once you get past the clickbait title, we actually talk about real stuff. So there's that.
All right. So we have a question from Michael Schifferoff. I hope I didn't butcher your last name too badly, Michael. He asked, when will you be listing new tokens on the Trade the Chain dashboard? He's been waiting for a handful of them and wants to know if we have a coming soon list. So basically, we add these tokens as we have enough social media data to interpret it into sentiment scores and are able to give you the context that you need from Trade the Chain. So that doesn't happen instantly or overnight. It takes time. You want to say, Alex?
Yeah, no, first of all, I want to tackle the next one, this next question, but to add on to what Ryan's saying is absolutely correct. We are able to, so just to give you an idea, when a coin lists, it takes 200 days for us to gather the data in order to process accurate sentiment data and scores to the dashboard for you guys. If we just did it from day one, we're lying to you. The data's lying to you because there's not enough to go on historically. That being said, things like GRT, which we listed this past week, we're able to list that. But mind you, there may not be long-term sentiment score in there because we haven't passed that 200-day mark, but you'll have the short-term, you'll have the daily, as well as relative tweet volume and trading volume and pricing.
There were two specific assets mentioned. The first is Dodo, which we know is getting a lot of traction. I'm actually actively working on that. The second is AMP, and that should be ready to add shortly as well. So both those assets mentioned can be added in the near future.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. So another question from Renan Guillou. If the platform updates every 5 minutes, won't that change the 1 hour projected range every 5 minutes?
Yeah. So this is a great one because this is how this is one of your best trading tools right here. Not only if you guys have watched AMA in the past, and I've gone over my sentiment trading method, the first thing I go to is that 1 hour projection in order to select the coins that I want to do. But if you, the 1 hour projection is progressive. So it's updating every certain amount of minutes, and that projection between percentages and weighting is changing constantly. Why does this make it good? Well, one, things change over the course of an hour. So if we kept a static one on, just changed it every hour, again, we'd be lying to you. Two, it lets you monitor your position. So I'm paying attention to that 1 hour projection as it rolls through the hour. If I've entered a position or I'm thinking about entering a position, to see where that good point is or where I'm comfortable to either risk on or risk off in that position. So it's a great slow moving boat monitor of where the sentiment is headed for that coin.
Absolutely. And it updates now once every 1 minute rather than 5 minutes, right, Josh?
I think that 1 hour price projection may still be every 5 minutes. Everything else is 1 minute. We are working on making it 1 minute if it's not already. So everything should be 1 minute or faster starting soon.
Josh, people want it in advance. So if you can make it 5 minutes in advance, then everybody knows.
Oh, yeah.
Future predictive.
Yeah, and on June 23rd, the price of Bitcoin.
Well, it's already 1 hour in advance. I give you a 5-minute projected range, but it would probably be like not much. Yeah.
Yeah, and also if you don't know, because there are those little question marks next to the top of the column titles. If you click on those, you get an explanation of the metrics, the definition of the metrics. But the 1 hour projected sentiment, we have accuracy at about 92.3%. So what that means is at the end of an hour, the data that we projected in prior, it is going to be accurate to about 90% above every time. That's what our historicals have told us. So far, so good. When that gets down
Alex,
to 50%, we'll quit. No, I'm just
Alex,
joking.
can you quickly can you quickly go over how to interpret and read the 1 hour projected range? Renan followed up with that question, the percentages versus the bar. Renan, that's a great question.
Absolutely.
Because that's something that the community asks us all the time. So we're glad you asked it, and it's a really quick explanation.
So this also gives me a good time to remind everybody, and sorry, I'm looking away from the camera. I have multiple screens over here, but if you go up to the top here to member resources, this opens up the portal, okay, for Trade the Chain. And you'll see there's an academy, there's video and all that good stuff. So if you go up here to academy, you will see that there's explainer videos, and we're adding to these constantly. Okay, this is a brand new revamp to the thing this past month. But here, there's a whole video on the 1 hour projection explained, as well as market capitalization, MVT ratio, the various sentiment levels and stuff like that. So go here. It is good. Also, by the way, research. This is our head of research, D Vino. This is critical. Go here for your daily research. We do it Monday through Friday for you folks. But I'm going to explain the 1 hour projection here anyway. So what happens is you have a 1 hour projection. You see three numbers. You have the number to the right, the alpha number, the beta number to the left, and you have the mean number in the center. And then you have a pretty little green or red graph, depending on how those are. So the price projected for, let's go with Telos, is going to be 22% above where it is now, 9.96% below. That is the range, and it has a mean weight average of 6.15%. This green bar is showing all three and where it weights from 0 to 100 across that graph. So if I toggle down to the negative ones, you could see that something like FTM, these three averages are equaling a lower weight to the bearish side of that projection to end in 1 hour for a price accuracy prediction.
And that's it. Does anyone else have any further questions?
Hit us up. We'll do this all day long.
ETH has been up in the past hour, by the way, in case anybody's been paying attention.
How much, Weston?
A couple percent, and
That's
appears to be
not
bullish on the Trade the Chain indicator. So
That feels like the first time in the last month that that's the case.
yeah.
I ain't watching my ETH.
okay.
There's one point that we forgot on the Discord thing, Ryan, that I wanted to just follow up with. You do have to
Sure.
confirm your email once you do that.
Gotcha. That's a good point.
So don't forget to do that.
Now, one other thing I want to, since I don't see any questions right now, so one thing I do want to share with everybody is this: there are multiple ways to contact us, and we are a team. So there is support at tradethechain.com. That's a centralized help desk. We all see that, okay? There's also this question mark right here. Go to ask, send us a note. We all get it. This is on every page of the dashboard. Also, if you go to members resources, contact, support. There's millions of ways to find us here. So if you have account questions, support, if you want to drop us a line, don't want to email, there. Many different ways. We're always available for you, except when we're sleeping.
And of course, via direct message on Discord itself. You can reach out to anyone on the TTC team. That's Alex, Ben, Divino, Ryan, myself, Sunil, and also all of the members, not the members, the ambassadors as well. You know, you have Calvin, Markey, Patricio, Nichols,
Calvin,
Weston.
I see Calvin's message in the thing there. I just want to say, Calvin, we don't comment on XRP here at Trade the Chain. I'm just joking. What was your was there a specific question, or was it just for price action? I'm looking at the chart, XRP.
I think it was up a little bit.
It was range bound.
Yeah, just price action. It looked range bound. I mean, it can go up a little, but it's going to keep bouncing between support and resistance. That's what it's been doing for the past forever.
Well, not, by the way, not trying to show what we're doing, but we just released a blog post on beta and portfolio volatility, which is focused on like helping everyone. It actually helped our team internally learn a little bit about how to manage your positions, how to manage your risk, understanding what's correlated to Bitcoin and not. I'm going to pop the link in the chat. I think it's really worth the read. It's pretty generic, but it just talks about, how to manage your risk a little bit better and how to understand, what, for example, Pancake Swap is kind of like a levered version of Binance Coin, right? And how to understand whether the positions in your portfolio are very correlated to one another. If you can build a more diversified portfolio that's less correlated. Super generic. We're not like selling anything or anything. We just built it as, something to help the community. So I recommend checking it out.
Take
Thanks
a
for that,
look at
Josh.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll drop that into the community for everybody to take a look at, get their hands on. And then yeah, Brian, your show. Sorry.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that's it. We have to jump to record the next episode of Trade the Chain anyway. So I think that's all for this week. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. And we're looking forward to seeing you later today for the live chat.
Happy trading.
Happy
Yeah,
trading,
and
everyone.
also we'll post it's my job to post a recorded version of this, which will go up this weekend onto YouTube, so you can capture all this again if you missed something.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
Stay
guys.
safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Alexa, what's the price of Bitcoin on Coinbase?